Hello everybody, it's Nancy News here, and today we've got a lot of breaking updates today. So the first news is probably going to come to the most important news today. So Russian President Vladimir Putin landed in Mongolia. So Vladimir Putin landed in Mongolia, so if you can see here in the bottom left corner, you can see him getting out of his plane. He landed in the capital city of Mongolia. So Russia and Mongolia are set to discuss the future of relations, focusing on advancing their comprehensive strategic partnership. So the very big thing, and what everyone was waiting for, is that if Mongolia was going to arrest Putin, and apparently it is niet. This is Putin's first visit to a member of the ICC since the court issued an arrest warrant for him last year. So if you don't know what ICC means, it's the International Criminal Court. So under international law, Putin is meant to be arrested. So he's been accused of war crimes in Ukraine, and under the ICC, Vladimir Putin is required to be arrested. So Ukraine ordered an arrest on Putin. In Mongolia, they told Mongolian authorities to arrest Putin because, as I stated, Mongolia is a part of the ICC, and it did not happen. Mongolia did not arrest Putin, and the Ukrainian Foreign Ministry have already reacted to Putin's visit to Mongolia. The Ukrainian Foreign Ministry spokesman stated that Mongolia will face consequences due to Putin's visit. So I'll keep you updated on that. And we've already got a little bit of videos that shown what Putin and the president of Mongolia has been up to. So you can see here, Putin meets with the Mongolian president, and they listen to the national anthem. So if you can see here in the bottom left corner, Putin was given flowers by this young woman, this kid. So very interesting news. And if we've only got a little bit of their conference, so if you can see here in the bottom left corner, Vladimir Putin has invited Mongolian president to Kazan for the Brics summit. And we've already got news that the Mongolian president accepts Vladimir Putin's invitation to the October Brics summit in Kazan. So Mongolia will be visiting and attending the Brics summit in Kazan. We've also got news that the Russian government has approved a draft agreement with Mongolia to develop of a project to reconstruct the TETS-3 thermal power plant in the Mongolian capital. So that's all the news I actually have about Mongolia at this very moment. And before we continue into Russian news, Kazakhstan will soon begin to develop new gas fields. Kazakhstan will soon begin developing new gas fields with a total production volume of 1 billion cubic meters per year. This was announced by the President of the Republic at the joint session of the parliamentary chambers. So Kazakhstan will be improving and developing new gas fields. And let's continue with Russian updates. So the Russian President Vladimir Putin, after he's done with his visit to Mongolia, he'll be returning back to Moscow, where he is expected to meet the Serbian Deputy Prime Minister Alexander Vulin, is apparently scheduled to hold meetings together on Wednesday the 4th of September. This is very big news because if you guys remember, Serbia did sign a contract between Serbia and France. So Serbia will be buying 12 Rafale fighter jets from France. And within this, the Serbian Deputy Prime Minister stated that Serbia's agreement to buy Rafale fighter jets from France will not worsen relations between Belgrade and Moscow. So this is probably why the Deputy Prime Minister of Serbia is probably visiting Moscow to ensure the relations between Serbia and Russia are all good. Now the next news is that we've got news that another Russian general has been detained. So the Russian Investigation Committee has opened a criminal case against the Major General Vali Munijov. I think that's how you pronounce his name. I'll put it on screen for you here. But the deputy commander of the Leningrad military district for logistics for apparently taking a large-scale bribe. So he's been detained under a large-scale bribe, so corruption. So very interesting news, and I'll keep you updated on that. We've got some news coming from the Kursk region, some statements about Vladimir Putin, some statements from Vladimir Putin, sorry. So he stated that Ukraine's incursion into the Russian Kursk region is an attempt to stop Russia's offensive in the Donbass. It has failed to do so, the Russian president stated. He also stated that Ukraine is not interested in ending hostilities. Its authorities are afraid of losing the elections after lifting of the martial law. And now we've got some reports that a Ukrainian MiG29 was shot down by a pair of Russian Su-35s. Again, we had some news about another MiG29 that was destroyed, I'm pretty sure a couple of weeks ago now, but there was no footage. So now Russian reports are stating that they've shot down another Ukrainian MiG29 by Russian Su-35 jets, but still we have not gotten any footage. Now let's head to the Zaporozhian region. So the newly elected Prime Minister of the Netherlands made an unannounced visit to Ukraine. During his visit, he met with the President Zelinsky, visited a school in the Zaporozhian region, and announced a new aid package worth 200 million euros. The aid is focused on protecting and restoring energy infrastructure and providing humanitarian assistance. And if you can see here in the bottom left corner, he obviously restated that he visited a school. So if you can see here in the bottom left corner, there was a lot of children, Ukrainian children in the Zaporozhian city, asking the Dutch Prime Minister for more guns and more help to Ukraine. And after after the Netherlands Prime Minister and Zelensky's meeting ended, President Zelensky shared a video update following his meeting with the Dutch Prime Minister. They discussed strengthening Ukraine's air defense with new systems, missiles and F-16s, as well as other necessary weapons for defense against Russia. Zelensky thanked the Netherlands for their new aid package, so Zelensky thanks the Prime Minister of the Netherlands. And we've got some more news coming from some aid packages between Romania and Ukraine. The Senate of Romania has approved the transfer of the Patriot anti-aircraft missile complex to Ukraine. So the chambers of the deputies is expected to confirm the decision by the end of the week. So Ukraine is most likely going to be given a Patriot system by Romania. And we've got some news coming from, political news coming from Ukraine. That's Ukraine stated that if Russia thinks that the strikes on infrastructure carried out by Ukraine are temporary, then Moscow is wrong. Our strikes will only increase in intensity. We did not start this war, but we will definitely end it. Ukraine will continue striking Russian infrastructure. And we got some news coming from the Deputy Prime Minister of Ukraine. She stated that Ukraine will join NATO within the 1991 borders. Other options are not being discussed. And we've got more news that another Russian ad has came out. So Russia's been mass producing these ads, so trying to get more people to enlist into the army. So if you want to see this new ad, I will show it right now. But if you don't want to see this Russian ad, just skip ahead a little bit.
Ударить лицом в грязь не страшно. Сесть в лужу не позор. Запятнать себя не стыдно. Когда идешь к победе с чистым сердцем. Добьемся победы вместе. Присоединяйся к своим.
Now let's head to Minsk and Moscow. So the Belarusian foreign minister has announced that Minsk and Moscow will sign a security guarantees agreement in December. We've also got news coming from the German car brand Volkswagen. So Volkswagen may actually close its factories in Germany for the first time in history. So Germany, at the place of doing business, is increasingly lagging behind in terms of competitiveness admitted by the company's CEO. So Volkswagen is considering the idea of closing 2 large factories as well as cancelling wage agreements, Bloomberg reports. In this way, the company wants to reduce its costs, but this could lead to serious clash with trade unions. So The Volkswagen is discussing of closing factories in Germany and maybe opening up in another country. I don't know, maybe Vienna, I don't know. But now let's head to NATO. Well, Belgium. We've got some interesting updates coming from European officials. So European officials anticipate that Iran will immediately deliver ballistic missiles to Russia, Bloomberg reports. So a shipment could begin within days, through exact details on type, scope and timelines are not provided. No estimations on types of weapons or number of missiles that might be transferred. So European officials are just stating that Iran will deliver ballistic missiles in the coming days. We got no type of weapons, no how many weapons are going to be transferred, just that Iranian weapons are going to be sent to Russia. We've also got news that instructors from the EU countries will train Ukrainian military personnel closer to Ukraine, according to EU's foreign policy chief, Josep Borrell. So at the meeting in Brussels, EU defence ministers agreed to conduct these exercises as close to Ukraine as possible, but not within its territory. By the end of the year, EU countries aim to train 75,000 Ukrainian soldiers. So far, 60,000 have already completed their training. Now, let's get some information coming from the latest details on the arrest on the Telegram founder, Pavel Durov. So, the latest news of the Telegram founder, Durov will be able to access the case against him and provide the elements he considers necessary. And Durov will have to pay a bail of 5 million euros. Now let's head to Türkiye. So, if you didn't hear the last news, I'll just repeat it today. Türkiye has formally requested to join Brics. This makes the first NATO country to join the bloc. So, Türkiye has formally asked Russia to join Brics. So, this is now 4 nations, I believe, have now publicly asked to join Brics. So, it goes Azerbaijan, the Palestine, and we've got news that Malaysia asked, and now Türkiye have asked. So 4 nations now have asked to join Brics, and many more will follow. We've also got news that Türkiye is experiencing some protests in the city of Izmir. I think that's how you state it in Türkiye. So videos have erupted that the Turkish Communist Party, so the TKB, march on streets of Izmir. So these people on the streets, you can see these people waving red flags. These people stated that with slogans that Yankees go home, this country is ours, we will not leave it to US collaborators and NATO lovers. So this is what the people chanted within this march. Now let's head to Israel, where we've got news that Prime Minister Netanyahu of Israel stated that Israel will not surrender the Philadelphia Axis in Gaza. So, if you don't know what the Philadelphia Axis is, it's like a strait in Gaza. So this is it. So I've highlighted it on the map, and if you can just see here, this Philadelphia Strait obviously blocks Egypt from Gaza. So this is probably why Israel wants it. I don't know, but Israel stated that it's not going to give it up. This might actually be annexed into Israeli territory, but the Prime Minister of Netanyahu stated that withdrawal from the Axis, Philadelphia Axis, forget about it. So there you go. Israel forces will probably not be leaving the Philadelphia Axis, so it will probably be annexed into Israeli territory. We've also got news that the UK suspends 30 of its 350 arm export licenses to Israel. And now let's head to Iran, where we've got news that Iran unveils a deeply modernized M60 tank. So if you can see here in the bottom left corner, I'll show you the unmodernized version of the M60 tank and the modernized version. So Iran's been modernizing these tanks, and we're probably going to be seeing a lot more of these tanks in the near future. Now we've got some news coming from Yemen, so Houthi forces. So Yemen's Houthi forces stated that it has attacked a Blue Lagoon ship with missiles and drones, a spokesman stated an official statement. We still have not gotten videos of this, but Yemen is stating that it has yet again struck another ship, going through the Red Sea or the Gulf of Aden. Now let's head to China. So China has just become the world's leader in the 90% of critical technologies. We've also got news that China has also condemned Canada's decision to raise duties and tariffs on Chinese cars and steel. And we've also got news that the Chinese President Xi Jinping met with African heads of state. So the Chinese President Xi Jinping met with the presidents of South Africa, Mali, Djibouti, Togo, the Democratic Republic of Congo in Beijing. So the African heads of states arrived at a forum on China-Africa cooperation. During the meetings, the Chinese leader stressed China's readiness to strengthen political ties, support African countries' economic development, and expand cooperation in areas such as agriculture, energy, infrastructure. We've also got news that China and Singapore embark on a bigger joint navy exercise. So China started a 5-day joint maritime exercise with Singapore on Sunday to promote practical exchanges and cooperation between the two countries, the Chinese Defense Ministry stated. So we've got some navy exercise between Singapore and China, and we've got news coming from the Taiwan president. So the Taiwan's president offers China to take back lands in Russia's Far East. Taiwan's president stated that China does not want to annex Taiwan for the sake of territorial integrity. If it is for the sake of territorial integrity, then why doesn't it take back the lands occupied by Russia that was signed in the Treaty of Algun? Russia is now in its weakest state. So he's stating, why does China have a claim on Taiwan, and China does not have a claim on Russian territory here? So very interesting news, and I'll keep you updated on that. And the last couple of statements is coming from the Americas, and more importantly, America. So the United States government has seized the Venezuelan president of Venezuela's jet. So the United States has seized Venezuela's Nicolas Maduro's airplane after it was in the Dominican Republic here. So the Venezuelan leader, Maduro, stated that Venezuela condemns the seizure of the President Maduro's plane in the Dominican Republic as an act of piracy by the United States. So he stated that this is piracy and it's theft. And he stated that the United States has shown that it uses its economic and military power to intimidate and pressure states like the Dominican Republic into becoming compliant in its criminal acts. Now let's go back to American statements again. And we've also got news coming from Donald Trump. So the last statements are going to be about Donald Trump. He stated that if Donald Trump gets elected, he will have good relations with China and Russia. So he's going to try and build relations between Russia, and he's going to try and have a good relation with China. We still haven't gotten any Kamala Harris interviews or anything, because a lot of people are saying she is avoiding any questions, and therefore we don't have any news on Kamala Harris for quite a long time now. And that's all the news I actually have for you today. I am Non-Seen News. I'll try and provide you news that medias around the world do not show you. I do these videos hopefully daily, so consider subscribing and liking. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all later. Bye.